Now let's talk about your money and your medical aid money. It's financial news that always matters to you. It's this time of the year, remember, when we start seeing our premium increasing on our medical aid schemes, regardless of which company you're with. You're going to start paying more as they increase annually as well. Let's find out how to make the most of your benefits. You're paying all the money for it. Journalist, my personal finance journalist, Maya Fisher-French, with us as well. And we're paying a lot of money, Maya, and I think a lot of people don't realize the benefits that they've actually got in play as well, because I suppose you've also got to start looking at what the increase is going to be, whether you can afford it, A, and B, whether it's worth staying on.
It's really, I can't express enough how important it is to spend time looking at your scheme and your plan, because I think a lot of people don't use or don't even understand all the benefits that they could be using. So I think it's incredibly important to just spend the time doing this. So when your plan arrives now and you see the increase, the schemes announced, they send out a letter saying a 10% average increase. Now, when you put your 1 foot in boiling water, 1 foot in cold water, well, that's, and they say this, the average is sort of 20 degrees. That's kind of what this is like. Some plans are increasing at 3%, some plans are increasing at 13%. So you need to look at your own plan and see what has the increase been there. And just a word of warning, medical inflation's running at about, it always runs at about 3% above CPI. So that's around 8%. So if your scheme, your particular plan has increased by less than 8%, there's a possibility benefits have been cut. Some schemes, for example, have reduced the amount available in the savings accounts for members in order to keep those increases lower. So just be aware of that. But then also find out, are there any new benefits my schemes introduced? I've seen quite a few schemes bringing in new benefits. Been a big focus this year on mental wellness programs, for example. Some of them are introducing free virtual GP visits. You get a certain amount of free virtual GP visits. The schemes all cover preventative screening, your annual checkups. You'll find that if you use specialists or doctors that are on the scheme's network, they will offer you that there may be no co-payment, or they will offer you a better rate, or they'll offer you more visits. There's a lot of those things that you need to spend time understanding. And I'll give you an example, Gareth. My husband had to be hospitalized for crashing off his bike, and he had to go to the hospital. And I knew that our scheme included 7 days of medication post-operation to take home. But the hospital didn't give it to us through the hospital pharmacy. They gave us a script which we would have had to go and fill out at another pharmacy. We would have lost that benefit. So by knowing my benefits, I said, no, you have to issue it from the hospital pharmacy. So you have to be proactive in order to get the most from your medical scheme.
Yeah, I suppose the problem is these schemes can get so complicated, though. It's difficult to actually make sense of what the benefits are that you've actually got now. And I'm so glad you used the example of your husband. Hope he's okay, by the way, that you called out the hospital and said, no, you actually need to give us. I mean, that's the kind of detail you need. Here's the problem, though. When we start seeing medical aid scheme premiums going up, and we know the cost of living, some people are going to have the exact opposite reaction and go, I can't afford this anymore. But it's also not a good idea to not have any medical cover. What do you tell someone who's going to get hit by another increase? It's a family of 4, 5, 6 people. Maybe they have old parents on there as well. They can't afford it. What do you recommend?
First of all, we're seeing a decrease in the number of people on medical schemes. We've just seen the Council of Medical Schemes has shown a decrease. So this is absolutely happening. People cannot afford the cover anymore. And I think it's just important to note, everyone gets angry at the medical schemes. Medical schemes, what comes in, they pay out. It's the cost of medical cover, the cost of doctors and hospitals that has gone up and making it become increasingly unaffordable. So there's kind of two options here. One is that you just simply have a basic hospital plan. And the benefit of a basic hospital plan is, at least if you are in hospital, you have the cover at private hospital rates. Now, if I look, actually, one of the schemes that came up, the really cost-effective hospital plan was Fed Health. I think it costs for a main member 965 Rand. And remember, you get this medical tax credit, I think about 300 odd Rand. So I think that works out at about, if you take in the medical tax credit, it works out about 605 Rand for a main member. So, you need to look at that, look at a basic hospital plan, and also remember that you get this medical tax credit in your tax every single year if you belong to a medical scheme. scheme. The other option is, this is becoming increasingly popular, and everybody is bringing out one as well. Even Dis-Chem has brought out a hospital insurance plan. And this is to cover day-to-day benefits. So this will cover a certain amount of doctor visits, maybe raise some radiology, basic radiology, dentistry. So those day-to-day things that cost us a lot of money. And it can also cover accidents. So if you're in an accident and have to be rushed to an emergency situation, they will cover a certain amount of days for that from these hospital insurance plans. And they're coming in a lot lower. So you're looking at about 300 Rand for a main member, and maybe a family of four is paying 800-900 Rand for a pretty good health insurance. So I think these are some of the options definitely that we're seeing a lot of people moving towards.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd rather have that than nothing at all. Maya Fisher-French, always good to have her with us, personal finance expert and journalist. So if you are one of those people who might be looking at moving away from medical aid, it is expensive. There are other options. Don't just go cold turkey. You might regret it later down the line.